The machines of high risk and high reward. Karen Sicker used to do quite well with these games.
I won. I won the slots. It was, I would leave there with $1,000 in my pocket and be thrilled to death. And I thought, God, this is great.
But her fortune was short-lived.
Then it got to the point where I wasn't winning all the time. And my credit cards were up to $65,000. I took my retirement money, started gambling with that.
But here's something interesting. Karen, or any other Massachusetts resident for that matter, cannot play the slots in the Bay State. However, if a group from Holyoke, Massachusetts gets their way, that could change.
We're hopeful. I mean, nobody has a crystal ball and can say with any exact certainty that it's going to pass this year.
Martin Dunn is the former mayor of Holyoke. Now, as a lawyer, he represents the Paper City Development Group, who hope to bring a resort casino to this struggling town. If the Paper City Development Group has it their way, this will be the site of a new resort casino, lending much-needed jobs to the Holyoke community. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, Holyoke has an unemployment rate of 11%. The state rate lies at 8.7%. A new resort casino on this golf course could mean one thing for Dunn and his clients: jobs.
We've had some real tough times back here in Western Massachusetts, and we need some job creation. I think this casino resort would meet that need. There could be as many as 2,500 to 3,000 jobs if a resort casino were constructed here.
Massachusetts legislature passed a casino bill last year calling for 3 resort-style casinos and 2 slot parlors. However, the governor did not sign on. Democratic House Representative Marty Walsh is a casino supporter.
This will create many service industry jobs, and I think that we have to do, we're not doing enough right now, and I would challenge anybody to say, what have we done to create jobs for people that don't have the educational backgrounds, or people that live in a community that don't have the means to go out and try and find a job, that are looking for a job today?
Yes, I mean, I think our unemployment is horrendous, and we need to support businesses and get people working again, but I don't want it to be in a predatory business.
On the other side, Representative Ruth Balzer has consistently voted against extended gambling legislation. The Newton District Rep instead looks towards education to spur job growth.
Last session, while many people were advocating casinos, the state budget was cutting money to our public university system. And tuitions have gone up, fees have gone up, so poor, folks who you want to move out of poverty, the kind of people you're mentioning, we're shutting them out of our public university system.
Besides job creation, the other big issue supporters point towards is the amount of money that Massachusetts residents end up spending in bordering states that do have casinos. Mike Monahan is the business manager at the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. His union is a major player with the Coalition for Jobs and Growth Today, a pro-casino group which estimates that Massachusetts residents like Karen spend $1 billion annually in Connecticut casinos.
Massachusetts residents spend more money in Connecticut than Connecticut residents spend in Connecticut. So that's how much.
No, I think that's a distortion of reality.
Tom Larkin heads up the group United to Stop Slots in Massachusetts, and he takes issue with some of the coalition's claims.
It's not money spent in Connecticut that generates money for Connecticut. It's money lost there. And if you look at gambling, you find that only about 10 to 15% of the money gambled is actually lost. So it's a distortion. Not that they're lying, it's just that they're not telling the whole story.
He doesn't dispute the facts, and what is said on the website and what we've been saying is true. He may not like the truth. The truth hurts, as the saying goes.
The truth did hurt for the town of Ledyard, Connecticut. Sitting only miles away from both Foxwoods and Mohegan Sun, the small town has absorbed large amounts of costs into its budget because it's just so close to the 2 casinos. Susan Mendenhall served as Ledyard's mayor from 2005 to 2009, and before that on the town council since the late 90s.
The governor needs to sit down and figure out how they are going to augment the expenses that will be generated from these casinos. It is just not fair that the local people have to absorb all these costs when the entire state of Massachusetts will benefit from it.
Mendenhall says that one big expense was in education, as schools had to cope with the influx of non-English speaking students as more immigrants took jobs at the casino. But Representative Walsh doesn't believe something like that will happen here in the Commonwealth.
I know the reps that are involved in the casino legislative debate that are pro-casino, and even some that aren't pro-casino, they're looking out to make sure that cities and towns get shortchanged. I think the beauty of Connecticut and the beauty of Atlantic City and the beauty of down in Rhode Island is the fact that we can see some of the decisions they made and some of the problems they had.
And whichever side you talk to, one problem no one wants to see more of is gambling addiction.
But there are some real concerns with the gaming as far as the addiction piece of it that I'm concerned about.
You want to put services, support services in place that take into considerations that there are people that might develop a gambling problem. But
services. That's what Karen Sicker is trying to provide now as a part of the Massachusetts Council on Compulsive Gambling. She's neither pro or anti-casino. All she wants to do is help. And with her experiences, she thinks she can. Her addiction cost her just over 2 years in federal prison for embezzling money from a medical practice where she worked.
And when I was finally caught, in a way, it was like a relief, because I was so out of control that if I would not have been caught, I would have probably done harm to myself at some point, because I was digging myself so deep into this hole and I couldn't get out.
Karen's story of slot machine addiction is an example of why Representative Balzer continues to vote against bringing casinos to Massachusetts.
80% of the profits for casinos come from the slot machines. And a majority, more than 50% of the profits from the slot machines come from the problem gamblers. So that most of the revenue that's coming into this business is coming from the addicts.
But that's not to say the other side isn't serious about addiction.
I'd like to put more money into recovery programs and look at how do we fund more of recovery, not just necessarily gambling, but drug addiction, alcoholism, so that you know the money generated in these casinos will go back and actually help people.
And that's what Karen hopes that she can do.
My goal is to start programs for women who are in my position, who have nothing, and also help with the legal aspect of going through what I went through as well.
And that kind of help can change someone's life. Just ask Karen about those who have stuck with her through it all.
Oh, I would, don't get all choked up. I would do anything in the world for them.
In Boston, I'm Joel Senek for BUTV 10.